All right, traders, watch this video for Wednesday, April 25th. Let me take today's candle out of the SPY real quick and just to show you. So, it came down for 4 days in a row, down to the 20-day. Volume was nothing to speak of, right in the middle of its recent range, and everything looked fine. And then today, whoop, pretty nasty. And if I go to intraday, I mean, it was pretty much selling off all day, got a bounce at the end of the day. My account is again at highs for the year. Had a pretty decent day today, and again, in this kind of ugly market, I'm kind of proud of that. But I'm a big fan of just being in cash every night, logging in the day with, in the morning with a list of stocks to watch, and then trading only if we get an A+ setup. So I'm gonna slide this over and show you one from today, CHEK. I blocked out the name here because it was a private message to me in chat. And private messages, I don't feel right projecting their name, but I got a thank you for CHEK. I traded it twice, made $5 grand today. I love to see our members making that kind of money. And up here, you see I wrote another whole number inflection point setup with earlier high of day just above as another catalyst for potential squeeze. So look in the description below this video if you're on YouTube. If not, you can shoot me an email. We've got inflection points, all kinds of free webinars, and one of them is Inflection Point, Trading Inflection Points 1 and Trading Inflection Points 2. So check out those webinars. In the description on YouTube below, there is a link to those. All right, we got a ton of free content. Check it out. And this is an example. Now, what does it mean? Hole number 13, I drew a line right there. This thing had this crazy move on an intraday basis, right? Big squeeze here, kind of coming into lunchtime today. Actually, it was late morning. Big squeeze, and I didn't participate. And then you see it came up and just hit 13 here, here, here. Nasty flush, right back up. 13 again. Nasty flush. And probably 4 or 5 times today, Wayne and I got on the mic or typed in the room and said, hey, we like CHEK if it breaks 13. The whole number break, big seller there, that it had tested several times. Tiny float, crazy move. All these things were lining up. And you see back here, we had the high of day from earlier this morning, which was, I think, 1340 something. Yeah, I think it was 1340 something right here. So when it broke 13, it ended up just ripping. It actually, and this was just, I took the screenshot, 10 minutes after it happened. It actually went to 1788 for a $4.88 move on 35 cents risk, which you can see it never came back down below the 13 entry. So hats off to Wayne because he was pounding the table on this. Hey, I'm taking this through 13. If it takes that 13, if it looks like it's going to take out that 13 seller. Just a great example of a whole number inflection point trade. And I'll switch to, that was a screenshot, so this is what it did after the 13 break. Look at that. Popped to over 15 in 10 minutes, flagged, and then ended up almost hitting 18. But one of those low-risk trades where we're green right away, and these are the types of entries we look for. They're the types of entries we teach. And I said this in chat this morning. If there's one thing I'm good at, probably the thing I'm best at, is doing nothing unless and until I have one of these setups that should work right away, and I've got catalysts above to propel it even higher. Most people, when they're day trading, cannot sit in cash and wait. They always want to be in something, and that, I've been down that road and I didn't like it. So the entry is more important than most traders will tell you. All right, so anyway, what am I watching for tomorrow? EVLV? That is not on my list. I'm looking at my morning gap playlist. Let's try that again. LEDS, first one. Really nice volume today and closed, fairly well in a weak tape. So I want to watch that for some follow through. Mankind, nothing really interesting here. MNKD closing at 173, but in after hours, it's trading at 192 and pretty good volume after hours. So that one might be a gap and go tomorrow. We'll see what it looks like. MARA. Unfortunately, I called this one this morning and it didn't follow through, right? I called it, and I'll show you what I called it. I loved the setup. Had nice volume out of the gate, then it flags, and I called it right there, like on this flag break, right about there. It popped up, took out a high of day, right back down. And then, let me switch to 5s now. Then after all that, and then all the chaos in the market, you could certainly argue that MARA held up well, right? In that ugly SPY tape I showed you, and then it closed really strong. So I was showing people I like the daily chart. In the morning, I was showing them, hey, this has got volume. Looks like it's going to break out. It's got catalysts above on the daily chart. didn't do anything, and then the end of the day it ripped, and I actually didn't get in the end of the day. But that closed really strong, so I think it's time to watch like this one, DPW, which doesn't look as good as MARA, but if MARA kind of continues tomorrow, this is a pretty good setup. Every time this gaps up, sellers knock it back down. You could get a short squeeze in a scenario like this if it does get some momentum to the upside. A lot of shorts might have to cover. So watch all the baby cryptos tomorrow. The two I'm going to watch are MARA and DPW. I think you could probably throw NETE in that same category. And I like this chart a lot. You had the huge move here, lower high here, and then a week and a half ago it took out this lower high briefly, went to a high of 1030, kind of a little rounded bottom there, and then right back up, and then today hit 1027. So really love this over 1027 or over 1030. This one could squeeze, especially if the baby cryptos get going. Bitcoin's been strong, so let's really watch this one too. NETE. MYO had this 2-day run here, a pullback on lower volume, and then showing some strength again today. That's on long watch. AYTU, I didn't type that right. AYTU, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. This was one of my favorites today, intraday, and I never took a trade in it. I got to keep zooming in so you can kind of see what I'm looking at here. I love this huge move from, I don't know, whatever it was, 40-something cents to 76 over a few days on nice volume, right? And then you can kind of argue a tightening pennant or wedge pattern. So you got this high of 76. Then you've got a very clear lower high of 64. And then you've got basically another 64 touch a couple days ago. And then today got close to that again, hitting about 63. I love this over this, if you can picture a line from here to here. Love this over, maybe over today's over 63, over 64 cents. I think we could retest this 76, and then panning out a little bit. If we break 76, could squeeze to $1. So weak tape today in the market, and you could argue that that's why this got knocked down, but it held up pretty darn well. Go back to 5-minute candles and pan out a little bit here. It held up. There was the early pop, and it held up pretty darn well in an ugly tape. So I still want to keep this one's had my attention for a few days. I still think it might squeeze one of these days, so it goes on watch. I didn't take any trades in it today, by the way. Apple, another red day. No calls in it today, no trades in it today, but I still think this is going to have, nice snapback bounce one of these days. Man, if this gets down to 150, I love it, right? You had this bounce here, but also if this gets down to 150, we might all be in trouble. So anyway, we'll keep Apple on watch. And then one more, Box, BOX, had this big pop yesterday, and then kind of a quiet inside day today, much lower volume. This one might turn back up tomorrow. So plenty of stuff to watch. We'll add some gappers to this, in the pre-market. Should be plenty to trade tomorrow. Even in an ugly, ugly market like it was today, we still did a really nice job of rooting out CHEK and a couple other plays too. Had a nice call in the room on Bristol Myers, BMY. So I actually am glad the market kind of flushed out, because I just think it needed it. And there's actually some nice individual stocks moving, all right? So if you're interested in what we do, check below. You'll see a really special offer on a lifetime membership to our chat room. Same price we offered it back in 2004 when we started, all right? And same thing on our trading course, an excellent price. Just check down below, and also check out our free webinars. The link is in the description on the YouTube video. All right, have a great night. We'll see everybody tomorrow.